So every organization, every congregation, every nonprofit, even companies always identify core values that guide their work. They're often emblazoned across their homepage or hung on posters in the break room. Values like reliability, integrity, transparency, inclusivity. But a few years ago, I came across an organization called the Hub Project that followed a value that I thought was kind of curious, but really powerful. And that value was simple. At the Hub Project, we all do the dishes. It means that everyone pitches in wherever they are needed. No task is beneath anyone, and no one person is left to carry the burden alone. And every single task, from balancing the budget to emptying the trash cans, is critical, foundational to the success of the organization. In this week's Torah portion, Eikev, Moses lays out a vision of what work, what labor will look like in the land of Israel. And he contrasts it with what it looked like when the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt. And surprisingly, it reflects that value of everyone doing the dishes. In Egypt, Moses explains, the grain you sow had to be watered by your own laborers, but in the promised land, soaks up water from the rains of heaven. It is a land which Adonai, your God, looks after. In other words, in Egypt, the Israelites experienced labor as something forced upon them. It was up to them to sow the fields in order to reap the benefits, and they weren't even the ones reaping the benefits. It was a punishment for their lowly status, meant to denigrate and embarrass. They were not partners in building something, they were instruments used to build someone else's vision. But in the land of Israel, they would encounter a different model. There was still going to be plenty of work to do. They would still need to plant the seeds, tend the fields, and gather the harvest. But they would not do it alone. God would bring the wind, gather the clouds, and send the rain. The Israelites and God would work as partners to bring forth the land's abundance. The message is not that the Israelites would just sit back while God did all the work. It is that God does not sit back while they do all the work. God, so to speak, will do the dishes alongside them. The difference then is not simply between working and resting. It is between labor that diminishes us and work that connects us. Work can be demeaning when it's forced upon us to reinforce our powerlessness. But when we work alongside one another, each contributing what we can toward a shared purpose, that same work becomes something more than labor. It becomes something sacred. That kind of work affirms that each of us is a part of building something holy, something that belongs to all of us. And perhaps that is also what makes Shabbat rest sacred. We do not arrive at Shabbat alone. We arrive after 6 days of building, creating, and contributing together. We have stepped up when someone else needed help, and we have trusted others to step up when we could not carry the burden ourselves. Shabbat reminds us that we do not have to do everything, but we each have to do something. We need one another, not only so that the work gets done, but so that when it is time to rest, each of us can truly let go, knowing that the community will continue to hold us. May the work of our hands help build something larger than ourselves. May we know when to carry more and when to allow others to carry us. And may we always remember, we all do the dishes, even God.